my mind, and I didn't get to making a video, but I did make some notes and I wanted to share them, and then I'll just talk about it for a few minutes. um, I recently took part in a rather intense webinar, and it gave me so many things to think about, and so I'll be sharing some of those. But the one thought that I had was about our relationship to our bodies and how we perceive our life in them. And so, anyhow, I'll just get into it. If mortal bodies weren't important and deserving of care, God would have given us another mode of existence. So, so often, or at least in my experience and background, I grew up with this idea that physical bodies were secondary. And in some ways, yes, the eternal things are more important than the things that are passing. However, this mortal body is our way of interacting in the world. It is our way of living and learning and expressing everything that we do, the way we relate to other people. So I'll continue. Obedience and worship are in the framework of our interaction of our body and the natural world around us. So I was thinking, like in the Old Testament, how the worship God instituted for the people of Israel involved being expressive with nature, with their bodies. There was a way of coming to Him. There were rules, there were regulations to approach a holy God. The simple acts of where we direct our gaze, what we do with our hands, are expressions of what we are worshiping or what we are in awe of, what we rejoice in. Our bodies express our joy, our sadness, our frustration, everything that we're feeling, even in our relationship with God. We cannot be stewards of the earth by spiritual practices alone. There are certainly things that we do spiritually, and I don't want to ever minimize that. But what I'm talking about today is how can we actually steward this earth as God commanded, to have dominion over it? How can we influence our climate, our the cleanliness of our water, of our air, basic things, except through the use of our physical body? We have to use our physical brain. We have to use our hands. We have to use calculations and planning and strategies, and we have to use technology, uh, communication, all of these things. And it is the way that today in our modern world we can actually accomplish the works that God has given us. The only way to feel and alleviate hunger and pain, or of being imprisoned, is in the physical realm. All things regarded as done unto Christ when we offer help. So, for example, when we, take food to those who are hungry, when we donate to the food bank, when we offer help in the kitchens, in the churches, in the community outreaches, in whatever way, we do that with our hands and feet. We drive there, we carry things, we ladle soup or carry boxes or organize something, or we send messages to encourage other people to participate. We couldn't do any of that only by spiritual means. How can we visit somebody who is imprisoned, especially defending those who are falsely accused or falsely condemned? Except through physical means. How can we help widows, orphans? And also, they don't even exist except that they live in bodies. Except that you can lose a spouse, you can lose a parent, because we all have mortal bodies. And so I just got to thinking about these things and how we really do need to, yes, live in the eternal, with the eternal things in mind. That's our perspective, and that is what guides us. But it's guiding how we live now. And in the now, in the present, we need to use physical means, which means that we also have to care for our physical body. And it is deserving. The only way that not the only way, but some of the initial ways, and sometimes the most meaningful ways that we express love and caring to others. Sorry, I'm fidgeting with something, but just realized that. But yeah, fidgeting with my hands. And so the way that we express our love for other people, it often begins with a smile, with noticing, making eye contact. It involves a touch, an embrace. Uh, some relationships, a kiss. And these things require us to be in a good place emotionally and physically to give the best of ourselves. If we're not caring for ourselves, how do we have what we often call bandwidth for reaching out to others? So, taking care of yourself, getting enough sleep, eating well as best you can, as best you know, making small choices, uh, getting some movement in, whether you go running or go to the gym, or maybe you do housework, run up and down the stairs at the office or wherever. Just getting in movement. These are all things that matter because they are what br- bring health and give us the well-being so that we can then offer something to others. And the thing that studies have shown, and we just know from ages, that some of the things that help us the most to be happy is when we do for others. But if we're constantly doing for others and ignoring ourselves, there comes a point when our body does break down, our emotions break down, and unfortunately, sometimes even our minds break down. And then we need others to care for us. And then we are adding a burden because not only are they doing what they need to do and hopefully caring for themselves, but now they have to add on caring for somebody in things that if it had been caught early on, they could have done for themselves. And so it is an act of love to others. And I think it's very noble. And I think really it's our responsibility, our, if you want to use the word duty, or if you hate that word, don't, uh, to care for ourselves and to notice what is our body saying when we have different sensations, when we have different emotions, when we notice a shift in our emotions. What does it mean? What are we needing? What does that inner self need? What attention? Uh, what care? And if we do these things for ourselves, then we are able to reach out to the world. Then we can offer something that makes a difference. Whenever I have been just totally consumed with my own uh, health issues, or when I went through a really bad period of depression, I couldn't reach out to anybody. I couldn't even see that I had anything that could be a blessing to others. And so I needed to care for myself. And just, I'm in a different space now and it feels so good. I'm not through it yet. I haven't come out completely to the other side. Uh, but I know that I'm on the path. And so I just wanted to say these thoughts and share them and hope that it lands for somebody. And if you resonated, if it sparked a thought, please leave a comment. And as always, like, subscribe. And I hope you have a beautiful day. And thank you for spending some time with Life with Arlie.